What's up? What's up? What's up, beautiful people? I'm Ray, and this is my favorite reptile podcast, and I'm from Alluring Serpents. Um, if this is your first time here, this is a podcast where we talk about business and good business practices, and we talk about the things that we don't know, right? And it's super important to have information to be successful in what we want to do. And the goal of this podcast is to bring on people that are successful business owners in the reptile industry and have them share with us, some of their tips and tricks and experiences so that we can grow together. So I always say it's learn together, grow together, and succeed together. Because as a team, we can accomplish all kinds of things. If you're riding solo, um, you can accomplish things, but it might take you a little bit longer. So better to work as a team, better to work as an industry as a whole. Let's bring new people in. Let's show them what's going on. Let's teach each other. Let's help each other. Let's grow together. Let's succeed together. We got a really awesome show today for you guys. We got Will and Audra from Flawless Exotic Creations. They're going to be spewing tons of gems that you guys are going to be able to use and apply in your own practices and maybe bring some new information to light that maybe you didn't know about. Before we get into that, we got some stuff that we got to take care of. So with Matt from American Made Exotics, which he was on the show a few episodes ago, we ended up streaming on my platform, my favorite reptile podcast, and we were streaming on his platform, and we're doing the same thing again this time. So if you are on the Flawless Exotic Creations channel, big salute to you. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you very much. And if you're returning and you've seen the shows before, you already know. Love you very much. Thank you for the support. Appreciate you guys being here. If you're new to the show, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Don't forget to like the show. Hit the like button. We're definitely dropping videos every week. Next week, we have Jason from Canadian Reptile Adventures. So it's going to be cool to get perspective about business in the industry across the border. So make sure you tune in for that. That's going to be a cool show. Um, Real quick, I want you guys to know that this episode is sponsored by my boy, Brock over at Morphinary Arts. Really appreciate the sponsorship, bro. Brock is awesome. Definitely go follow him on Instagram, Facebook, follow him on MorphMarket. He actually just recently started a YouTube channel where he's putting out videos about his projects, which include like Desert Ghost Clowns, Hypo Ultra Melt Pies. I believe he has some Lavender Albinos. So definitely go give Brock at Morphinary Arts a follow on all social media platforms. Really appreciate you, bro. You're the man. And also, I've been getting some people asking me, like, Ray, how can I support the channel? Where can I make a donation or something like that? Are you monetized on YouTube yet? I am not monetized on YouTube yet. And I had enough people ask me to where it was like, okay, well, maybe I should give some kind of opportunity where if you want to donate to the channel, you can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little thing down here. Let me see where it's at. It's a ticker, and it'll actually have my Cash App information in it. And if you want to donate to the channel, you're more than welcome. You can send me a Cash App. If you would like for me to shout you out on the next show for your donation to the show, just put it in the notes. Say, yeah, I'd like to, shout me out, and I'll shout you out. So I appreciate all the support. I appreciate you guys very much. I'm actually shocked and super humbled that people want to sponsor the show already, and that people want to donate to the show. It's actually just extremely humbling. Like who am I? What am I doing? But I'm trying, and the efforts I guess seen and the love that I'm getting for it is amazing. So you're gonna see a little ticker down here. This episode is sponsored by Morphinary Arts. Go follow them on all social media platforms, and to donate on the channel, use Cash App, and it's going to be Family First 753. And if you want me to shout you out on the next show for your donation, just leave a little note, and I'll take care of that for you. At the end of the show, we always do a giveaway. So if you're new to the channel and you don't know about this, we always do a giveaway. I always give away a T-shirt at the end of the show. You just gotta do something in the chat, whether it be write a hashtag or something like that, and then I'll put you in the wheel, first 5 people, and you can be the winner of one of these awesome T-shirts. And it comes as an exclusive t-shirt where it will have episode 6, Flawless Exotic Creations, on the front next to the snake head there. And that's super awesome. Also, Will and Audra are going to do a $50 store credit that will not expire, and you can use to put it towards an animal, maybe get some merch. It's really up to you. Maybe put that towards a Patreon, because Will and Audra have a Patreon, and I think that's super cool. So, yeah, that's what's up. I think I touched on everything. Again, appreciate all of you for being here. And if you're new here, I hope you enjoy the show and find it super informative. So I'm going to kick that intro video, and then we're going to pull we're going to pull Will out, and then Audra's going to join us a little bit later. So, what am I even thinking, man? Let's do shout outs. Can we do shout outs? Let's do shout outs real quick. Slacking, man. I'm excited to get Will up here, man. I forgot about you guys. My bad. All right. More Valley. Not sure. 100. Why you going like this? But it's all good. What's up, bro? Thank you for being here. Brian, always a pleasure, big dog. Let's get this weekend started right. Oh, and as a matter of fact, speaking about getting the weekend started right, I'm glad that you're here. Ooh, it looks like I'm lagging a little bit. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. But after this show, usually end this around like 7-ish. After this show, Hair Down Friday, Keys Constrictors YouTube channel. We go over there. It starts at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. We all hang out. It's a group of us together. We talk about snakes. We show snakes. We talk about life things. We do egg cuttings. We do all kinds of stuff. So definitely want to be there after this. And that is why we're talking about getting the weekend started right. And then Saturday at 1 p.m., we got Lady Tiz. Check out her on her YouTube channel. Then we have Kent from Craft Brew. Check out his channel at 4 o'clock. And then we end the night on Saturday with Wiz and Joey D on Sophisticated Ignorance Podcast, which is on Wiz Constrictor's YouTube channel. So make sure you tune into that as well. It's going to be a fun-filled weekend, guys. Definitely want to check us out. Let's see who else we got here. Stan the man. What's good, big dog? Appreciate you being here, man. Thank you for being here. Can't wait to see you guys in Daytona. Ooh, my boy, Eric Anthony. What's going on, man? Appreciate you being here, bro. Super awesome. Link up with you at Pembroke Pines show. And it was really cool to meet your mom and your dad, man. They're freaking awesome, dude. So that's what's up. Hey, if I'm laggy, guys, let me know. Let me know in the chat. Meteoric Serpents, Joey D. What up, fam? Appreciate you for being here, big dog. You already know. Alex M. What up, what up, what up? Will's Hella Heat. Main chat in here, or Will and Aubrey's? I believe that it pops up from both channels. So it's all good. You could be on either one. And when you comment, it'll pop up on my screen, whether it be from over there or over here. And yeah, so either one is good. Pressure Pythons. What up? What up? What up? Justin from Jacksonville, Florida in the house. Chad, what's going on, man? Super cool to have you on Hair Down Friday with us last week. It's nice to meet you in person, see some of your beautiful animals. Love that you're into exanthics. Let's go. You already know. Aiden Burke. Hey, new subscriber. Appreciate you, man. I guess, yo, man, shout out to MJ, bro. MJ sees, me just write something, man, and he just shows mad love. And MJ is the man, bro. He puts in the work, and he's dropping videos and lives all the time. So definitely go check out Trap Talk Reptile Podcast on YouTube. He also has a Patreon that you could check out. Check him out on Instagram as well, where he's super active. Appreciate you, big dog. Big salute always, man. Love you, bro. Yeah, make sure you hit the like button, guys, if you're here. And if you're on Flawless, make sure you hit the like button there. Musical Pythons, what's going on? Big deal. Yo, appreciate you being here, big dog. It was nice to meet you at Pembroke as well in person. Super dope, man. You got some amazing animals, and you're super just like chill, man. Laid back. I love it. Game of Odds. What's going on, bro? What's going on? YT Vance. What's popping? I feel like I'm lagging. On my end, I see myself lagging. I'm not sure if I'm lagging or not, but it is what it is. If it is that bad though, let me know in the chat and I'll back out and come back in. It's live. Shit happens. Oh, also man, shout out to my boy KG and D. Bomb Projects, dope apparel, definitely doing some big things. And shout out to Dr. Joe over at Kingdom Pythons. Appreciate you, bro. Doing amazing things with the kids, letting them know about our industry, teaching them about the animals, our hobby. It's amazing. Ro, what's going on? HB, what's going on? Eric's Morph Factory, what up, brother? What up? Always good to see you. Definitely saw you over at the Pembroke show as well. Always a pleasure to see you and the fam. Morph Master J, what it do? What it do, Johnny? Appreciate you being here. Frank the Tank. What up, man? Thank you for being here. Oh, there she is, Mitzi Ann. You already know, much love. Appreciate you for being here. Let's see. Oh, the big dog. We got a big dog in the house, guys. Watch out. Villarino Reptiles, the CEO of the V Unit subscription on Instagram. Definitely go check that out. My dude is killing it, man. They're building an amazing network of people there. And couldn't be more proud of you, big dog. Like, lots of love. Yo, yo, yo. Forward Motion Reptiles. What's going on, man? Appreciate you being here, big dog. Thank you. Let's see. Who else we got? We got Rock. Rock on. What up, bro? What up? Alexandra Gomez. What's going on? Appreciate you being here. Are you in Jacksonville too? Let's get this party started. Florida in the house. William, what's going on? Appreciate you being here. More Valley already said what's up. William Serrano, got you. V Unit. Okay, we're all caught up, guys. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna kick that intro video and we're gonna pull out my boy. As soon as I find that intro video, hold on a second. Here we go, right here. Let's get it. You are now tuned in to my favorite reptile podcast with the big dog, Will from Flawless Exotic Creations. Let's go. Will.
What's up?
What's up, my boy?
Doing
Yo,
well,
thank you
doing
so
well.
much for being here, man.
Oh, definitely, man. Wouldn't miss it for the world.
Yeah. I kind of gave you late notice too. I think it was like Tuesday.
It's all good, man.
Yeah, yo, so super excited to have you on, man. I know you guys have been doing your thing for a while now with the Cresties, and then you started getting into the ball pythons, and we're gonna try to touch on a little bit of everything, and try not to leave anything out. For the people that don't know who you are, you want to introduce yourself and what you do, the name of your business, all that stuff.
I got a little feedback on my side. Let's see. But yeah.
Am I echoing?
It sounds like I'm echoing back for some reason. Let's see. I know I got a voice that carries. Here we go. So yeah, Will Washington. We own, and Audra. She's not here yet, but she'll be, stepping in. We own Flawless Exotic Creations as well as Flawless Crested Geckos. This is the conclusion of year 7. I think we're in year 8 now of Flawless Crested Geckos. We do this full time. We've sold a few snakes here and there, but by no means is it a drop in a bucket to what we have invested into them so far. We got into it because we assumed it was going to be very, very fun. So far, we are having fun. We've experienced some ups and downs already, but so far, I mean, we're not turning back.
Yeah, those ups and downs are part of life, man. It's not just about business; it's life.
Absolutely. So Audra and I were actually both in law enforcement. Audra worked for Spartanburg County, and I worked for Spartanburg City. I was a SWAT team leader. I was working in policing for 10 years. So we kind of just walked away from pensions, everything, the whole 9 yards, and put in every bit of energy into what we built. Right now, we're streaming from the vault. We call it the vault because we built it from the ground up, and it houses our precious jewels, as we put
Yeah,
it.
they are precious.
Um, but that's a whole nother path we'll go down, I'm sure, in the journey as far as in this conversation is building this in the
Yeah.
process. But we decided to diversify away from crested geckos and get into the ball pythons because of actually Bob Vu. The first show we ever.
Wait. I want to know. I want to know real quick. So you said you were in law enforcement, and then about 7, 8 years ago, you got into the Cresties.
Mhm.
Um, where, like, how did that come about? How do you even decide, hey, man, Cresties is the way?
So that's the it's a story with everything with me.
That's
But
okay. Look, we got time.
we were I, law enforcement is such a hard profession, give props to everybody that does the job and does it respectfully in the right way.
Hmm.
I did my best. Audra did her best, and we would see each other in passing. It was kind of an awesome experience to work in that field, but it's extremely demanding on your family,
Hmm.
especially if you have kids, and stressful on your relationship. I would say that's probably the weakest part of our relationship during that building process because I worked third for 7 years, and
Mm.
I was on call for almost 5 years straight. That means your
Okay.
days off. There's no drinking, nothing, because I was SWAT team leader. You got to
Yeah.
be ready to roll at any given notice. That
Okay.
being said, we would see each other in passing, coming and going, um, and it, we just didn't have any time spent together. It was very stressful for our relationship. So
Yep.
one day we have 4 kids. My daughter's 19. We have a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, all boys. Um,
You got your hands full.
Oh nah, man, this piece of cake. That it's funny. We do this thing, we do it serious, but the number one thing that I feel like I'm the best at, personally, is just being a father. I think I'm here on this earth to be a father. Number one, besides everything else,
I love that.
I've been blessed with wonderful children, and been blessed to cross paths with Audra and live our life together. But went into a pet store one day and came across some crested geckos, some other lizards, some iguanas, and talking to the sales rep, which was a young kid at the time. They were informing me all the information and care needs of the animals. I walked out of there with the enclosure, 4 crested geckos, one for each kid, and we figured it'd be a fun little process to come home and care for the animals together, bring us all closer,
Yep.
something to smile and enjoy. Well, just like this business stuff, I deep dive into absolutely everything. So I listen, take notes, and then I research. And everything they told me at the pet store was wrong. Everything they told me at the pet store was wrong. I had one enclosure, 4 geckos, housed them all together, was giving them bugs every day. Everything they told me was wrong. Um, got involved in a lot of the Facebook groups. A lot of people were kind of up and down as far as the Facebook groups. I love the Facebook groups. I feel you have to be very mature as far as the way you receive information. And we've always been on the fence as far as we don't get involved in any negativity, no drama whatsoever. We don't even
Yeah.
associate with it.
No time for
Um,
that.
yeah, so we take the good with the good, and the bad we leave it where it's at. So
Like
in
that.
that research, we came across a lot of big breeders, Altitude Exotics, Crestopia, a lot of huge names, Pangea, and we start seeing different colors and morphs, and started researching what does what, and next thing you know, we were literally ordering, I don't know, anywhere from 5 to 10 geckos every month. So yeah, it was deep. We were building enclosures, custom enclosures. It was very fun and interesting to get started. Spent a ton of time doing it. Wasted a lot of money at the start because a
Yep.
lot of the first enclosures we got, we no longer have them. But it's kind of like paying your dues and rite of passage to where we feel. So Audrey and I, we were deep diving into it, and it was actually her idea to link in with Brian from Altitude Exotics. He's like a family member. He's like my brother now. We vacation together. We've been to Belize. We've been to Cancun, Mexico twice, like Vegas, all kinds
Yeah.
of crazy
And that's
trips.
how it happens, man. Like you start to meet people within the industry and you build these relationships and you don't realize like they literally become family.
Absolutely.
Yo, I have so many people that are closer to me through this industry than people I've known for 20 years that all I did was party with and hang out with, right? And do nothing really
Absolutely.
productive.
That's the way. I mean, but that's the way it should be, because that also ensures that you have checks and balances in your system. Um, whatever your standards may be for your business practices. If you come, same thing with Audra. If I come home one day and say, babe, we're about to go rob a bank. They open up at this time, blah blah. She like, are you stupid? Like, no, we ain't doing that. And
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
problem comes in where that's a horrible idea, and you're sitting there on the sideline, and you're like, yeah, go do that. No, stop the train wreck. Stop it. So that's what your checks and balances are there for. Unfortunately, some people, when they are checked, they kind of buck up to it. Oh, and they feel like it's I don't know, somehow slighted or coming
Yeah,
from a
they feel
different.
like it's almost like disrespect instead of guidance,
Right,
right?
and then they break that bond.
Yeah. But that's
And
okay because at the end of the day, God doesn't remove people from your life that need to be in your life.
right,
That's how
right,
I think about it. So
exactly. So
never a hard feeling, right?
oh yeah, definitely not. And so we started, as collectors,
Were you
and
guys
started,
still working? Were you guys still working when you started this like
we
heavy
were
buying?
feeling. Oh yeah, we were working all the way up. We should have been left the workforce way before we did. I'll tell you that story too. But yeah, we were working the majority of this time, and
Okay.
just kind of buying and buying and buying. We didn't have a brand. We didn't have a business logo, LLC. We didn't have any of it. We were just
Right.
literally just dumping the money into the investment side of it with no foreseeable plan in front of us. We
Right.
just wanted the prettiest, best of the best that we could find at the moment because we were having fun with it.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man.
Problem comes when you're sitting there with 80, 90 animals, and you're like, okay, now we're planning out breedings, and you get some babies pop out, and now you're like, okay, well, what are you going to do now? And then Audra did hair. She's a hairstylist for 12 years, and I'm a professional bodybuilder. I have I brand clothing, with just a whole flawless branding.
Oh
And
yeah, man, y'all are good about that. We're gonna get into that too. Hold on, you bodybuilding, man. Let me see it one time.
man, yeah,
I
yeah,
am. My
yeah.
boy jacked.
Hey man, it's a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, a lot
Yeah,
of grit. And having kids, you're kind of showing them that anything you put your mind to, you can do. And
100%.
they're forever grateful for these businesses that we've started and run, because now they work for us. They come down and work for us. That's a tax write off, and it also puts money in their pocket for all their video games and toys and all their interests in movies and things of the sort.
Yeah, I heard
Um,
something like that where you could pay your kid up to I think it was like
yeah.
12,000 for the year, right?
Yes. Yes, I believe it changes, adjusted a little bit, but everyone would, like I said, I'll say it over and over again. You're always going to want to get a CPA and consult your CPA. You want
Yeah,
to consult your
100%.
tax professional. It's
So
always.
so let's get into this real quick. You got a lot of animals, damn near 100 animals, right? You guys are still working. You want to start breeding, doing projects, da 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 da. Who came to who and said, "Hey, let's take this more serious. Let's start a business."
Um, well, I got a weird way of the way our household is ran. Um, it's I guess you say it's a double-edged sword. Audra's on one side, I'm on the other side. So if there's something, I believe in her enough to marry her and be with her and have a future with her as a partner, that I feel she's bright enough to come up with her own decisions.
Hmm.
Anything that comes into question, we'll put our heads together. But for the sake of the argument, if she comes up with a plan and say we're rolling with it, we rolling with it. If I come up with a plan with it, we rolling.
Yeah,
So as far as the business concept, it was me. Certain parts of the business that were extremely expensive, it was a lot with her making a decision saying, hey, we should probably do that, which
yeah,
shocked me because Audra, as probably any hairstylist, is very difficult to make up her mind. And I'm always putting her on the spot because she asks me something, that's frugal. She said, "Hey, what do you think we should do? Hey, make a decision. Whatever you decide, that's what we do."
Yeah,
And
we riding together.
we
Ride
ride.
together, die together. Let's go.
Right. So that's
So who
how.
came up? Yeah, who came up with so actually you got two different businesses, right? So you got Flawless Exotic Creations, which is ball pythons, and then you
Yep.
got Flawless Crested
Crested.
Geckos.
Yep.
Okay,
So
so who came up with the Flawless Crested?
that was me. I came up with both the names. We're trying to do everything on the branding. So we take, which another rabbit hole to go down. We've taken a few like business classes in the business that we ran previously, as far as branding and the importance of branding. So we wanted everything to fall under the umbrella. We had no clue at the time when we started Flawless Crested Geckos that we was going to branch off and actually do Flawless Exotic Creations.
Right.
We actually have bullies, exotic bullies, little miniature American bullies. We have those too. We haven't even started reading those, but we
Nice.
wanted to start a brand after Flawless Crested Geckos that would absorb anything that we got into afterwards to a certain degree when it comes to the animals. So we thought of Flawless Exotic Creations. So it's going to be primarily for the foreseeable future, going to be just ball pythons, but we may get into the exotic bullies. We have a male and female here now, which are beautiful dogs. They're very expensive
Yeah.
hobby to get into. But that's how it came about, and then it was just logos, design, hiring people
Right.
to
So
kind
you
of.
already had business experience prior to starting
Yeah.
these businesses.
Yes.
Okay. And you also went to business school and like
Went to
marketing
college.
school?
Went to college for business administration, branched over into marketing, but then also everyone should take a deep dive and look into YouTube, which is what we're on right now.
Yeah.
You want to dive into YouTube and get a lot of the free advice. And Audra's horrible with it because she has ADHD. So she'll watch like the first 2-3 minutes of it. It's like, me, I can watch 20 hours of video to get the 20 minutes of information that was locked in there that we
Yep.
absolutely needed. That's just how I'm programmed. I
Dude,
guess.
I have learned an abundance of so many things. I mean, I
Mhm.
learned how to build high frequency electromagnetic pulse machines off YouTube. I've learned about herbs on YouTube. I've learned about obviously ball pythons on YouTube. How to fix cars. I'm a big DIY guy, so I love building stuff and using my hands.
Yep.
So YouTube has been a better teacher than anybody has ever been for me.
Tell me about it. Tell
Yeah,
me
take
about
that to heart, guys. If you definitely want to learn something, you should
it.
be
Do
on the
some
tube.
research. Yep.
Self education is super important.
Just sit there and listen. Sometimes you're gonna listen to things you already know. Sometimes you're gonna listen to information that's misinformation. It's okay. For example, I never really understood, the down, the thumbs down. For example, personal opinion, I think the thumbs down button is pretty much there for people that's putting out any type of hurtful information, any harmful information,
Yep.
extremely misleading information. But you know, I don't necessarily think it's there for if you just have a difference of opinion. I think someone else, put out content, because they understood it one way, and in the comments you can have a conversation.
Yep. And
So
you gotta have some discernment.
right.
It's not about just you watch one video and that just
Hmm.
that's the written truth. No, you gotta accumulate information from many different sources and come up with your own base of what is true and what's not, and then apply
Yep.
it to prove those theories out, right?
Yep. Yep. That's the way I believe. So as far as the education, you want to reach out. There's a bunch of marketing classes. The rule of thumb that we typically use, you set a budget because at the end of the day, it's all going to be a tax write-off. So if you can find very affordable classes, whether they're online classes, part of your community college in your local area, whatever it may be, and you set a budget, $500-600 over the course of the whole year, and let's say you take I don't know 2 or 3 classes for that budget, and only one of them was really worth it. That was worth the whole $600 in our eyes. Plus it's all
Yeah.
right, you can write it all off, and the information you gain will be invaluable. So it's continuing the education. You need to continue to be a student,
Yep.
and that's what we're big on, just continuing to be a student.
100%, man. I agree wholeheartedly. I did something called the Forum. I don't know if maybe you guys have heard of it, maybe you haven't, but it's called the Forum, and basically it's about like self-realization and like self-improvement and holding yourself accountable and all these different types of things. People always are like, "Oh, you're like the Yoda of whatever," and I'm like, really? I fill my brain with purposeful information so that I could share that with people I come across because,
Right.
I don't want to talk to you about the next Jordans that are coming out. They might be cool. Yeah, I'll be like, that's cool, but I don't serve you
Exactly.
by talking to you about things that cannot help you. So
That's good. That's a good way to look at it. That's a
yeah,
good way to look
yeah,
at it.
yeah. So I'm all about that, man. So if you're out there and you're wondering how some people are the way they are, it's because they're filling their brains with the right information, and you can too. It's not exclusive, you know.
Yeah. So that's what we ended up starting a business off of the geckos. We branded it as flawless crested geckos. We pounded the pavement on that, and the way we did it was hitting all across social media. And I guess a lot of people could take notice of that. When you have certain animals, you want to take high quality photos, high quality videos, and don't wait till the last minute when you have something available. Same thing what we're doing with Flaws is Out of Creations. We've made actually already a bunch of snake sales, whether it be word of mouth or actually on MorphMarket. But before we had anything going, I mean, it's just put the content out. Put the content out so people could put a face with the brand. They can get to know you, see what you're about, see your personality, because that's the society we live in now. Everybody wants to get to know you. They want to see the person they're actually spending their money with.
Yep.
Audra was big behind that concept and pushing that after we got her comfortable with getting on camera.
Yeah. Let me tell you. Listen, I talk about this all the time, and I say it all the time because I feel like more people deal with this than
Yeah.
they actually admit, and it's nervousness and anxiety. And like, if you ever see me at the beginning of a show, I'm nervous, I'm anxious, but I push through that, and I hope that I could be an example for people that are dealing with the same thing. To
Right.
say, yo, if Ray could sit there and do that and have it look the way it looks, like it's not perfect, but it's here. But if I could do it, y'all could definitely do it. So everything is content,
It is.
and put yourself out there so that people get familiar with the people behind the animals.
And when we put ourselves out there, like Audra had difficulty at first, and now she's good. She kind of leaned on me, and I'm like, hey, I got big shoulders. I could take it on. It is what it is. But it's just like you said. I don't really get nervous at all. And I know people like that's impossible, but the way I reference it, man, I get on stage in my underwear in front of thousands of people. I'm not gonna worry about being fully clothed in front of the camera.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
easy.
That's a good point. So my thing is, like, my nervousness doesn't come really from what other people are going to think about me. It's my nervousness comes from my high expectation for myself,
Right.
and am I doing the right things to meet that high expectation of myself? And I always fall short. So set the limit super high, and even though you're falling short, trust me, you're much higher than if you set goals you could reach.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you being on stage, bro, like, you ain't nervous about nothing.
Yeah. I ain't worried about it at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you got lots of animals. You
Mhm.
guys start the business. You start breeding. You start marketing. You start putting yourselves out there.
Yep.
You're building relationships with other people within the crested gecko part of the reptile industry. Um, what are some things that you did that made you stand out uh,
Um,
more than some of the others that are doing the same?
I think everybody, is walking to the beat of their own drum. It's already laid out everyone's story for them. For us, we wanted to stay high end, extremely high end. We even had friends that wanted to come and get wholesale and things, which is nothing wrong with.
Yep.
But we never really had anything to offer them because we sell each gecko one by one. Because that's how we came into the game. So it's like, how can we offer something of quality in bulk at a discounted price? It just didn't economically make sense.
Yeah, you
Um,
kind of shoot yourself in the foot, right?
right. And we learned that actually through Brian from Altitude Exotic. We were working with him, and we purchased a ton of geckos from him, whether it be Xanthics. I mean, spent thousands and thousands of dollars, probably 100 grand with him alone over the years, getting invested into this. And one time we were like, hey, we were looking into, maybe getting a bulk order from him. Like, hey, we need this specific line. So it's like, again, having those friends that's going to, put those checks and balances there for you. He's like, I can't do that. I said, okay. He said, well, the reason why, if I do that, it's going to take out 20 geckos that I have growing up that's going to be in my flock for the next production or the next release. I'm like, wow. So I started writing that into our actual business plan. We wrote about business plan and changed it. We were letting go animals that were, at that time we had all the animals in the house. They were taking over half the house. And we had a capacity where we were at the capacity. So we're like, yeah, we can't really hold back certain animals. We were letting things go. These are earlier on. This is like year 3. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, we try to be extremely helpful with people that don't even purchase from us, people with common questions. They message us. We're always on our phone, checking our inbox. That was the good thing about working third. So, you had one of us working during the day and one at night. So we were answering messages all around the world, literally response time, even on MorphMarket back then was like 6 minutes. You get somebody message you at 3 a.m., you're right back to them because you're out there working.
It's afternoon time somewhere, right?
Yeah, it's always somebody, looking, or at least browsing within the shop. So when we wrote that into the plan, we say, hey, we started getting pictures and then people say, hey, what are you guys thinking? We'll, check the certain geckos out. One, and this was the turning point for us, was someone sent us a beautiful, drop dead, gorgeous crested gecko. And they're like, hey, what do you think? I said, that gecko is absolutely insane. We're intrigued. We're going back and forth. We're like, who'd you get it from? They're like, you. And we're like, wow, are you serious? Well, the eye-opening part about that, we sold the animal so small that we didn't allow it to develop. And if we would have seen it develop like that, it would have never left here.
So that's funny.
We made that a part of our standard. We grow them out, see what they're saying, because we may have holdbacks that we don't know, and now we get a chance now to hold them back, grow them out, and take it to the next level.
So at what age do you start to see the true potential of the pattern of
that's the thing. So it depends on the lines of what you're working with.
Okay.
When it's like we're big on high white crested geckos, whether they're extreme harlequins or certain morphs. With that line and the different strains, it kind of develops over time, almost like Dalmatian spots, where you can get a gecko that comes from insane parents and has 4 or 5 spots on it, and you give it time, a year or even 9 months, and it's completely engulfed with spots. You're
that's like piebalds. You get a pied and it's all white, and then over time you start getting those black spots all over the white areas.
Right. And so it's the same concept. And then if you're selling it at a younger age, it's all a probability. It's probably male or probably female, one or the other. And depending on what you need for your program, you'll buy it, but you can get it at a lower rate than if the breeder did most of the work, raised that animal. If I already have 10 females that's on par with that one, I may not need 11. Or if I already have 10 females, I may need that male, and then you can hold them back.
So that was a part of your program, was to raise these up and put in the work necessary, to see its full potential, and then release certain things that you didn't want to hold back.
Right. So
Smart.
That kind of branched over into what we do now with Flawless Exotic Creations. I felt like we bumped our heads enough with Flawless Crested Geckos that we kind of developed the plan with Flawless Exotic Creations. Jump in, get all the snakes and programs that we want, and analyze it before jumping in it. I don't want to bash any specific morph, but if you let's say crunch and munch morph, if it's an incomplete dominant and it's fatal if you put it to each other, but it looks phenomenal. It's okay to have it as a pet. It's okay because it is a living, breathing animal, but it's probably not smart to structure your whole breeding program around that, because there's going to be people that don't want that as a customer into their program. So
Right.
that is a very fine line. I was actually good buddies actually with Tony at Hardwire, and we see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. And he said the same thing. You got to reach a point where you're like, hey, this is fun and this is hobby, and then hey, this is a business.
Yeah.
And when you structure it that way, it needs to make complete sense. And I think, in my opinion, we're sitting at a point where it's like everything needs to make sense business wise with the amount of money that you end up investing into, you having fun. If you don't care, you need to stand on that and say you don't care. I remember a lot of people, they say, hey, this is a hobby, I'm having fun. Let me go out there and get, $8,000 animal, $8,000 snake, $5,000 snake. And when you see those same snakes selling for half or 30% of what they spent, they're like, now they're losing their mind. Like, wait, don't lose your mind. Aren't you still having fun with the animal?
It's supposed to be fun.
It's
Yeah.
supposed to be fun. So it's gotta make sense.
Yeah.
You gotta.
That's what I did. So I've been in the ball pythons about 8 years now, and the first 4 years was really just me having fun, man. I was just mashing shit together, bro. Oh, this 4 or 5 gene animal, this 4 or 5 gene animal, we're gonna go for the 10. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just having a good time, man, and I really was having a good time. I'm hatching babies, building incubators, I'm building racks, like I'm feeling good about all of it. And then something happened where I was like, you know what? This is it. This is what I want to take serious. And there was a pivot point where my whole mindset flipped, and I was like, I got to be project driven. It can't just be about a pretty snake, because a pretty snake could be $100, right? How many of those do I have to sell to generate income that's going to benefit my family? A lot.
And it's hard, it really is hard because there's difference of opinions, and I'm completely understand that, but that goes, with the business concept. We spoke briefly, before, where it's like the whole business idea and the whole tax law and things like that, like it's developed, for, you can beat the system, you really can play it, you can beat the system. Don't not, play it or duck and dive it. I don't want to claim this. I don't know. We're going to, hey, we claim it. Here the books, open the books. Whatever you say we owe, we owe, I don't want to play that game.
So this is what he's saying, guys. Like, for those of you that are scared to take that dive into business ownership, like, the only reason you're afraid is because you don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
And a big part of growing a business and growing pains in the business is educating yourself and reaching out to people that have done what you're trying to do, right?
And it can be scary, because a lot of the things that we as everyday people, hear about, the gripes and complaints of some, other businesses, whether it's large businesses or small businesses, it's just gripes and complaints. You can't really, I'm sure everybody has a friend or family member that, complains. You can see, they're doing well, they're well off, but they, kind of stub their toe and they just complaining and nagging about you. Like, dude, they ain't that bad, from your, perception, your viewpoint. So it's like you may not respond or react the same way somebody else will. So for the business model, just a drop in a bucket, just, food for thought. Good general rule of what you're going to want to use is always get a tax professional. Always going to prefix that tax professional. Consult, talk to them. Some of them you can talk to them for free. But
there's a difference. There's a difference between a tax person that just pushes the papers, and a tax person that has tax strategy.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So tax strategist is going to tell you maneuver like this, maneuver like that. A tax pusher,
all in one. Typically, I'm only speaking from our experience. If you go to H&R, whatever those big franchises is, where your actual tax guy does not initially work for themselves but for a brand, we've seen for ourselves that they typically push an agenda with whatever fits in line with that brand. But typically the standalone individuals, the independent, tax professionals, that's where you want to go and get an opinion, and then go get a second opinion as well. But don't be afraid to do it, because they are there to save you money and to give the IRS what is due to the IRS. And a lot of the times you won't believe that you're shooting yourself in the foot, ducking and diving, away from it.
Yeah, there's nothing to be scared about. You just got to link with the right people that are going to guide you. Like you said, you have someone that, like a CPA that owns their own firm.
Yep.
They're putting in the work to self-educate so that they could be the best person that they could be for their customers.
Yep.
You know, someone at H&R Block, not anything against them, but I mean they're paper pushers.
Right. And we're just
You
using
know,
them as a rule of thumb. You never know who you run into, but you definitely want a professional. And those guys they do continued education every year. They
yep.
go to school for it. We're not going to do this. We're not going to build this. All we have on TurboTax. We're not going to be able to do that at all.
Yeah.
It ain't going to work.
So let me ask you this, man. You talked about building relationships across seas in different countries with the geckos.
Yes.
How did you first get into exporting, and what did that kind of look like for people that maybe are interested in going down that road?
Well, I would say it's easy for it now, but getting into it was kind of, we fell into it. It's simple business, but the process is difficult to kind of figure out. We ended up getting our import-export license, which leads you to having to go to, the website and get CITES, paperwork and everything when you're exporting and, figuring out your import. But a good rule of thumb is simple supply and demand when it comes to business. That's going to be everything that we talk about. Everything is supply and demand. If I, again, I don't want to crucify any specific, ball python gene, but, the crunch and munch gene we were talking about earlier, if it's widely available, everywhere here in the United States, everywhere. It's been around for 15 years. And then I jump in and say, I want to lead my entire project with the crunch and munch gene. You can almost say you're going to get crickets when it comes to international sales. Who's going to want to buy from you a gene that everybody has? So it's supply and demand. So whatever you're getting into, you want to make sure that the demand is high because the supply is low. It's simple. That's across the board with everything you do.
Yeah, that's any business, right? Not even just this one.
It's like, all right, promise. We're into monsoon. We have monsoon. Somebody put up a monsoon. Everybody said the market is down right now. Okay, cool. I don't necessarily agree. Let's see somebody, which no one will. Somebody put a ready to breed, monsoon female, proven that they bought for, let's say, $10,000 2 years ago, bred all their own rodents, proved her out, had a clutch from her, and now they say, hey, I got babies. I'll put her up there right now for 15 grand. It won't last 30 minutes.
Yep.
Supply and demand. So supply and demand. It depends on whatever. Somebody put a tornado. I don't know if you heard about it. Somebody put a tornado up there, for 30 grand. I'm sure. Boom.
Listen, that tornado's fire.
Yeah, but that's the concept, So
everything
you look at is going to be supply and demand. So
if you put a pastel to an enchi and you're making pastel enchis, how many other people making pastel enchis out there? You battling for a couple $100 at best against 1,000 people.
But now you're talking also about vision. You got to have a vision for it. We also into stranger. And it was a thing that was one of our woes where, we imported from Roland, from Iris. We had a stranger double het puzzle clown male. And, luck of the draw, he did well. We actually got a clutch from him. I mean, he was 850 grams. And next opened his tub one day and he was belly up. And it's like, oh, man, that sucks. He was $11,000 snake. It's like, it's gone, and hit up Roland. Hey, checking on you. What other, clutches it? Because it ain't his fault. It's just how it works. So he ended up having a sibling that, knock on wood, ended up having pastel. But because we don't like getting males with pastel. It's just us.
Yeah, you want to keep it secluded to the female. Yeah,
right. Exactly. So
makes
we
good sense.
Importing his sibling, and his siblings here. And his sibling now is just hit 850 grams, and I mean he's doing awesome. And we got him pretty much for the next year. But people were asking, why buy it again? Why not wait for it? It's no time to wait. It just is what it is. You eat it. It's a it's a loss. Write it off. Give it to your CPA. And let him figure it out, and invest money and keep on moving because
that was gonna be my next question was when you have an animal that's so expensive and an unfortunate event happens like that where you do find it belly up, you can use that as a loss for the business or as a write-off for the business. I'm not exactly sure how to word that, but can you correct me?
It's technical, but you can use it as a loss for the business. We don't really worry about any of that. We just kind of just give it to them, our CPA, and tell them, hey, this is what happened. This is a receipt from our import. He's dead. He's no longer around. We had to purchase this mail. Here's the receipt from that. And whatever category they end up putting them in, we're showing our documentation on where our funds are going. So they're not saying, hey, you made X amount of dollars. Because a general rule of thumb for everyone who doesn't really know, and again, it's just an example, talk to your tax professionals, but if you throw 100 grand, or from, say you bring in 100 grand from in profit from your business, you're that business owner, and the government comes back and they say, okay, you owe them now, let's say 40 grand. And you sit there, you have two decisions. One is pay the 40 grand, you pocket, for sake of the argument, the 60, and you're good. Keep on pumping into the next year. But you have these tax professionals now where they will advise you. They're like, look, this is what you do. You either pay that, or what else do you need even for your existing business? You need racks. Okay. Put together your rack order. Go get, 4 or 5 racks. You need cleaning equipment, incubators. Next thing you know, let's say you rack up 25 grand, 30 grand in expenses of your existing business. And you have a certain time limit to do that. You're already sitting 100 grand across the whole year in profit. You go spend 25 of it. You're left with what? 75. That's another expense for the actual business, which is now write-offs. You give all your paperwork, all your purchases to your CPA. Now, when they process that you spend that 25 grand, again, it's a rule of thumb, and I'm throwing out estimates. They'll come back, and instead of you owing 40, which you initially owed before, they may come back and say, now you owe 8. Now, if you do the math on that, 25 plus 8, you're still sitting at 33, but you didn't really pay the 33. You paid 8, and you gained $25,000 in equity back into your business. So you essentially spent the money back into your business. That's why you need to consult with your tax professionals, because they can make it in a way. They have all the rules and guidelines of what you can and can't use, but a lot of us are too busy ducking it.
Yeah, man. And that's the thing, man. You don't know what you don't know. Shit, I didn't just know that. But that's good, man. I appreciate you sharing this information, because it's gonna help people 100%. And that's what we're here to do on this show is help people understand things from a business perspective, so that they can have the confidence to move forward, right?
Absolutely. And it's different ways to go about it. You can, for instance, with the vault, we were, people say when you're riding high, you need to double down. And that's what we did. We wanted to build, both businesses, with no loans. Thank goodness we were able to do that. But building this building, no loans. So, we did a lot of back work ourselves, but we had the actual building built. And then Audra and I, came in and finished off everything. She was my drywall hanger, so I had her holding up the drywall while dry. She hates it, but she's a trooper. You find out
that's fun,
what it is made of. But you do it that way, so when things do get thin, for you at any given time, like, what does it matter? Do it really matter if you make 2 grand one week, 3 grand the next, and then you got crickets for 2 weeks? I mean, people are nervous about that, but basically, I just said you had a $5,000 month, but you only made money the first 2 months. You got to learn the budget. You
gotta have good money management.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what it boils down to.
So that scenario that you just mentioned, where you're taking, okay, so you made X amount of dollars this year. If you don't reinvest,
right,
or if you don't start a new business, you're gonna come out the pocket heavy, right? So,
and they're gonna pay your whatever tax bracket you fall in. That's what you're gonna end up paying.
Right, that's what you're gonna end up paying. So, kind of walk us through, like, how you, like, what was the mindset? Like, okay, look, we owe this much. It don't have to be exact numbers, because it's not about exact numbers. But we owe this much. Why don't we expand ourselves into something new? And then kind of explain, like, how you got, how did ball pythons come up out of all things, right? What was the initial goal at the beginning, and say, hey, look, we're going to invest this much, and this is how we're going to move, and we're going to focus on these projects. Like, what's that look like?
I wish it was that simple, but it is definitely not. The rule of thumb is, like, when in any business, once you get in, let's say 6 figures or high 6 figures, closing in 7 figures, You got to change the way you think about certain things. You can sit there and say, hey, you're just going to fork it up and pay it because you actually made the money and it is what it is. Or you can figure out a way where you get paid on the back end of things, which is really, really important with why we do everything we do. Um, we're looking with all the money we invested into these guys. We're not worried about making a dime this year, next year. We got more of a 5-10 year plan. We plan on doing this for the next 20, 25 years. That's what we're shooting for. You got to have longevity, and that's another problem that we saw getting into it. We mentioned earlier, or I mentioned earlier about the $5,000 or $8,000 snake and worrying about it cutting in price. That's irrelevant to us, because for me, it's an investment on the brand. Audra and I have had enough, head-to-head conversations, deep thought, running everything, through the gambit where she sees the plan, she sees the vision, and the vision is, you pay an astronomical amount for a rare snake or a less than heavily available snake, and you have to push the threshold. My man Darren at Sloan Morse, me and him conversate all the time. It's the same concept, man. You can't buy back when they first came out. Let's say when they first were created, a stranger clown. And you get into it years ago when it first, and then you say, okay, and it's not picking on the hobbyists because that's not what I want to, do. But you put that male or female on the shelf, and you say, I got it, I attained it. And now 4 or 5 years later, you've had, 1 or 2 breedings with it. You're progressing along here and there, and you're mad that the prices dropped to $1,800, $2,000. No, all those guys, Billy, Canova, Ozzy, they push the threshold. It's like you get a new gene and, they make sure it's eaten, they make sure it's well cared for, but they push the threshold. You need that animal breeding because at some point you're trying to produce the next generation of what. Think about it. You've been in this longer than I have. What were visual clown pies 4 years ago?
Oh, I don't know, man. High 5 figures.
Yeah. So me and Darren was just talking, because he, we always bounced off each other, and I should be producing, clown pies this year, but I'm projecting that a clown pie with no other genes, male, next year, $900, easy.
Yep.
Easy, $900. And you look at it.
You can't be upset by that. You can't be upset by that.
You can't. But the reason behind it is like, okay, what else are you doing? We have DG pie. We have ultramel pie. We have a lot of double and triple, combinations, but that's not where we want to stay. We want to push the threshold to the next level. So we're in a lot of programs that hopefully, knock on wood, it's going to take us, 5-10 years, to reach a goal. But then the goals change. You revamp. What you're going to do next. So you got to keep pushing the threshold. So
constantly evolving, yeah.
Yep.
Shout out to Miguel. Always evolving.
Yeah, always evolving. Exactly. and it's funny you say that because I watched him, and what he's done, with the gyms he's owned and investing. And that man, he he's big business. He wasn't afraid to invest. And you received a lot of flack, at the beginning. And I mean, I don't see why. Just an opinion.
Well, here I'll say it. People with no money like to talk shit about people that are doing things with money. It just is what it is, and you can hate me for saying that, but hey, man, truth is a truth, regardless. Now, here's the thing, right? So we talk about business on this show, and it's not just it's about money. It's about money. So don't get your mind twisted. What it's about is what are you passionate about? And then how do you turn that into something that could provide for your family that you love doing? Because if you love what you do, granted, you work a lot more 24/7, but it's pleasurable. You're not going to work for a boss.
Plus it's a little different. To add on to what you just said, there's nothing wrong with having a career, enjoying your career, and doing something you love and getting a paycheck for it in that workforce. There's nothing wrong with that. But I promise you, if your animals is what you do for a living and you do nothing else, then I promise you'll make different money decisions, because every decision you make, depends on not whether you or your family eats or survive. So again, that's that threshold between I'm having fun as a hobby and it's a business. And some people ride that pendulum where it's like it's one way or the other, depending on the season. When things are good, it's a hobby. When things is bad, oh, it was a business investment. No, it's got to be one way or the other the entire time. And you can move back and forth, but it can't be because of the industry. You got to continue to love what you do.
Yeah, 100%. So when you got into the ball pythons, what were some projects that kind of fired you up when you first got in?
So let me explain. Getting into the ball pythons, it kind of still goes back to crusty geckos. We structured our whole business plan for marketing and promoting online 100%. So the first 3 years of the business part of it, we were strictly all online sales. We were all pushing promo, advertising, and marketing all across Facebook, Instagram. We didn't even come to YouTube until a little bit over a year ago, and then Patreon, which we'll touch on that later. But the reason I brought that up was the very first show that we decided to do. I was actually directly next to Bob Vu. Bob's my man. That's my brother right there. Me and him sat there and talked at the booth. My daughter was working the booth. We had like one table at the time, and he was really intrigued on what we were actually working. Because he actually has crested geckos too. He plays with crested geckos too. And he was telling me about his whole, market, what he does and how many shows he do and the things he doesn't do anymore. And I was really intrigued with him that, I ended up meeting up with him, been to his house quite a few times. We hang out and everything and just picking his brain and learning the ball python aspect just, from him. And then we're also, Ozzy, supporters as well. We're on his Patreon for all the education that he's putting out there on diversification. So after talking with Bob, he actually pointed us in the right direction as far as, if you're going to do it, you gotta go 100%. And, me and him go back and forth. I'm like, he talking to everything. So, and, we got into that, and then we got into the voodoo gene early on. So we got voodoo, and then he was just saying, whatever you pick, make sure you like what you pick and work that gene. He said, if you want to go high end, go high end. But if you want to go, middle ground or show level, you got to figure out where you want to be. Right. And we love doing the shows. We will always do shows. But we like to get in front of people. We like to set up the big displays. We like to meet and greet. Hopefully next year, 2024, we have it in our business plan to get over on the West Coast. But, we've been over there to Vegas once for a show, but we want to get out to Anaheim and Cali and things like that. Yeah. But Bob pointed us in all the right direction. We decided, we wanted to mirror what we did with the Flawless Crested Geckos, with Flawless Exotic Creations, and go rather, the deep end of high end first. And it's high end for us, we jumped in Monsoon. We thought that was very intriguing and new at the time. Stranger, Puzzle, a lot of double visual DG, we got a visual male that's been killing it for us. Ultra Male Pie from my man TJ, met him in person. He's a stand-up dude. I can't speak highly enough of TJ. Yeah. Amazing, so much information. We spend a ton of money with him, and like literally 9 months in, I messaged him, about the mail that I ended up getting. I have a Ultra Male Pie from him, and he hit me back immediately. He said, "Hey, you busy? Can I call you?" I'm like, "Absolutely." He called me up. He said, "Hey, because I was popping out. We have quite a few breedings with that male, and a lot of interesting stuff is popping out with him." And he gave me the download on the parents of that male, and come to find out, we spent money on the male, and he actually ended up being inchy Ultra Male Pie, which is mind blowing for how hard it is to get incomplete dominance into already recessive animals. Yep. Have that there already. I was stoked. And he's also possible hypo, which will be proven out soon.
So you ended up with an Enchi Ultra Male Pod Pos Hypo.
Yes.
Yo, good looks, TJ.
Yeah, seriously. So, I was huge on that, and talking with him, and he actually gave me a perspective on it because he actually sent in I don't think it's top secret, but he sent in about 27 sheds, for a full spectrum test on some of his females. And he says 7 of them came back with genes that he never even knew, was in those females, like het hypo and things like that. And I'm like, wow. So now that makes me think now we got like $2,000 in sheds that we got to send in on some of the stuff we're going to figure out as well. For somehow, because we're relatively very small compared to any large breeder. We have, I want to say now, 150 ball pythons, but that's including some of the clutches we've had. So maybe 160. We still have eggs in the
still big, bro.
Man, I still think it's small. We still got
listen. That ain't Bob Vu size. That ain't that ain't
Kabilka
Billy size.
In person, man. Bob is killing it.
Yeah, but 150, man, that's still a lot, bro. So salute to you, big dog.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We probably moved all together on the stuff that we had available. I think about 8 total, and we still got 2, ARS 55 series racks, 12 levels empty. We're planning on ordering 1 more. We also have black box cages, hatchling racks. We're going to get 2 more from Georgia. Just to prepare for the hatching season, because we were planning around 50 clutches for season 1, and we literally just put in the incubator clutch 38. And we still, all these little green tabs, all is expecting to lay. So,
that's great, man.
Yeah, this is crazy. So. We're having a lot of fun doing it.
So listen, I wanna just dial back real quick. You said you got about $2,000 worth of sheds, right? And I just wanted to say something on that, because you hear a lot of people like, oh, shed testing, it's a waste of time, just do it, whatever. But in reality, it's just another tool that you get to use to help you make better decisions with your future plans. Yeah.
Yes and no. Well, yes and yes, I'll say. First yes is it does. It's an amazing tool for your future plans to cut out on time. And the second yes is it's tax write-off.
See, didn't even think about that.
Yeah, bro, everything is business.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. So see that, guys, if you are spending money on shed testing and you own a business or a LLC or S Corp, whatever you are, make sure you keep them receipts.
That's right. Tax write-off.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's great. I didn't even think about that.
We even got our ultrasound machine we've used quite a bit. It was a learning curve with that. And we finally kind of got into a niche where we're pretty good with it, but tax write-off. People are like, why you get tax write-off? We need it. It's equipment. It's a tool. Tax write-off. So I just had the actual guy. He comes every year. This was his first year coming to do my HVAC guy, because we have 2 mini splits in here. We really only need 1 because it's not huge. It's 800 square feet. But the whole plan at the beginning was we wanted 2, because if 1 fails, we got the other one that can run the whole facility.
Just in case.
Yeah, but then we got them installed. We're like, we don't want to just run 1 and then it fail and turn on the other one and it has issues because it never ran. So we just run them both. So he comes every year and he checks it up at Freon or do whatever he needs to do. And he gives you a bill, $250 or whatever, tax write-off. Cool, no problem. Here's your money, tax write-off, everything, tax write-off associated with your business, and just kind of keep pushing forward.
Yeah. So, guys, everything is content.
That's right.
And everything is a tax write-off.
That's right. Very true. Very true.
That's what's up, man. So yeah, let's talk about some projects real quick. So, you're just getting started with the ball python projects. This is your first season.
Yes.
What is maybe the best thing that you could hit in your perspective? What's the best animal you could hit this season?
Best animal I can hit this season would be a Stranger Wookiee puzzle.
Stranger Wookiee puzzle.
Pos head clown. Yep. Stranger Wookiee puzzle, 50% head clown.
Hell yeah, we're getting those tested too, ain't it?
Yeah. That would be the best thing I can hit.
Stranger Wookiee clown. I don't even know. Has that even been made yet? What's that going to look like?
I haven't seen it yet.
See, so you're looking to make things that aren't even available yet, and you got to have that vision and that creativity to say, hey, man, I think this and this is going to look good. Let's put it together, right?
Right. Absolutely. And then, when you make it, you can't be scared to say, to turn down that 50, 60 grand or whatever it may be, and move forward. I was just watching actually not too long ago. Look at Ozzy, and it's another gentleman actually. He was kind of promoting before he hit it. He just hit a quadruple visual.
Yes,
And then
bro.
somebody else hit a quadruple visual, and then both of them, Ozzy and the other guy, they hit quadruple visuals and a triple visual in the same clutches. So if they're already producing, man, that's a $50,000-$60,000 animal. But
Easy.
I wouldn't sell that, man. You know how far ahead of the game you are.
Yeah.
You
What
know,
was it? It was a DG. No, wait. It was
it's
Clown.
Ultramel Clown Pod Hypo. Yeah.
Ultramel Clown Pod Hypo. Oh man, that thing was so clean,
And
bro.
that's what I mean. I got actually it's not that, but I'm making hets now for this year. I'm hatching out G Stripe Hypo Pod Ultramels as well as G Stripe Hypo Pod DGs this year.
Nice, man. That G Stripe Pod stuff, bro. So I'm going for the double visuals this year. I went last year, but I only had one girl go for me, so I missed the odds. This year, I think all four girls are building follicles for me, which is super late, man. Like we're already almost in July, so everything is running late for me. But if I could get that double visual, if we could get a female, right, or a male, and we put it
Either
to the
way,
Exante Clown project, now we get making our quads with some other, calico, banana, blade, and
funny.
stuff like that.
Darren said even your car insurance is a write off, which is true.
It was
Darren Sloan Morse.
what
Yeah.
up, Frank? Where you at? Unfortunately.
All the way at the bottom. Yep.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
I mean,
Even your car insurance. Yeah, your gas, everything.
To get back to those programs, it's like where do you design it? Like we just hatched out 6. We bred a black pastel G stripe hypo male to a regular clown female. So we just hatched out 6 triple het, G stripe hypo clowns, and
with black pastel.
2 or 3, with black pastel, and we got 2 or 3 females. And it's like with that, typically we're probably not going to keep a male back. And people say, well, you probably should. Well, for us, like we're just going to probably at this point keep 2 females back, grow them out, and in a year or so we'll keep our eyes open because we'll rather buy either a visual double het or a double visual het and on the male side and buy forward and keep pushing that project forward.
Yeah, and by the time they're ready to breed, there might be other snakes with incomplete doms in.
There we go.
So that you can add to that black pastel.
Yep. So you got 2 years to basically look, 2 or 3 years to look.
Yeah. Now I will say one thing is that I've produced so the double head genetic stripe pods, right? I had 6 males. It was a 6.4 clutch. So it was a big clutch, but I was male heavy, right? So I got rid of 4 males, and I ended up with 2. One of them passed away. I mean, I just, belly up, like you said. Now I'm stuck with 1. So, like, do you take that into consideration? Like, damn, maybe I should have more than just 1, just in case.
Yeah, you gotta have backups, but then it's also a budgeting issue too. So the way we look at it is, we play by the 60-40 rule. So, all your funds that you bring in, you got to have, a business bank account, and you got to have money in there where, hey, the wife want to go to, Japan and Hawaii, and like, hey, we can't afford that. We can't do it. But hey, this Inchy DG pod just came up. You're like, wait a minute, I thought we couldn't, but we could afford that. That's the business expense, So
that's an investment.
Yeah, so you make sure. So the same thing goes for when you're selling your reptiles. If you for us, if you sell, let's say $10,000 in animals, again, it's just on the business side of it. You sell $10,000 in animals, then you can sit there with $8,000, $6,000 in the bank, whatever it may be, but you need to allocate that 6,000, 60% of that is there to be reinvested into the business. Therefore, when lightning strikes, it is what it is. 6 months a year, you need a new roof on a facility. And it's like, dang, that sucks. But you know what? Let me send out this $40,000, or whatever it may be for your roof. And guess what? It's still a tax write-off, but it's there because the animals, are taking care of themselves. So it's all about how you, mitigate your risk. And the same thing with just your personal life. Do you have a mortgage? How much is your rent? Whatever it may be.
Right.
And if you're in a situation to pay off your mortgage completely, you know, and not have that loan over your head or whatever it may be, it'll make you move different. You
Yeah,
know,
you never want to leave yourself in a situation where you're down to zero,
absolutely.
and if something pops up, you're frantic, right? You want to be comfortable to where you're like, listen, I got this money backed up. God forbid something does happen,
Hmm.
but I'm not going to wait for something to happen to then worry about it.
Right.
Yeah. So you said something about the animals real quick, and I was just curious, like, so how many cresties do you have, and how? And you said you had up to about 150 ball pythons, right?
Yeah, I would say a tad bit more counting the babies,
Okay.
but around 150. I would say max 170 ball
Okay.
pythons.
What?
Um, but crested geckos, I would say we were up to 2,500. I did a count the other day. I think we're barely touching 2 grand now. We've sold a lot. Actually, this past year, we've sold our 5,000 crested gecko since we've been keeping count.
You sold
Um,
your 5,000th crested gecko. Yo, that's a fucking yo, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's go,
Yeah.
man. That's a compliment. That's called
Man,
milestones, baby.
it's huge. It's huge. But we did our announcement and everything on Patreon. We have really, really strong and involved Patreon. We looked at the market and didn't see any of the crested gecko, big name crested gecko breeders even really on Patreon. So that's kind
Mhm.
of how we attacked it. And Audra and I put our heads together.
Yeah,
And
actually, wait, before we get into that, real quick, man. So how like okay, so you got 2,000 cresties, you
Mhm.
got about 170 ball pythons. How much time do you dedicate to each one? And like, so like the cresties is already established,
Right,
right? The ball pythons you're currently establishing.
right.
So are you giving ball pythons maybe more time to marketing and getting it out there, or like how are you balancing your time between the two different businesses?
That's the hard part. Again, we're still students of the game, so we're still trying to figure out a lot of things. By no means are we perfect. We just strive to be flawless.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
it's just it's we put a lot of time into the crested geckos. There's a lot of moving parts when it comes to picture taking and feeding schedules, and then we also have an employee that's outside. We have all of our kids work, and then we also have an outside of the household employee that came asked for a job. So we actually set him on a schedule. He's doing 10 to 20 hours every week.
So
Which is
technically, you have 5 employees.
yes,
Okay,
yeah,
plus you and Audra.
yep. So
Okay,
that
so you got
helps.
7 people working the
Yep.
project. Yeah. Okay.
And it's it's difficult, but it made it a lot easier, I guess, going out and being able to even just have somebody that washes tubs. And that was the biggest concern because there's oh well they're gonna be down in the building. At first we didn't have internet down here, and with all the insulation that we put in, it was kind of hard for reception. So we got internet service out here. So now we can do lives and things out here as well. But then it's like, oh, they're still gonna be bored. We got a 86-inch TV that we hung on the wall, but tax write-off, write that off for the business. Yeah. So we
I
started
love it.
that as well. And then we, like I said, during the building process of everything, the infrastructure, we tried to make it as manageable can be.
Mm.
The whole facility is a smart facility. So, basically I can bring it up on my phone, Alexa, hopefully she don't hear me, but I can tell Alexa to turn on and off the lights. The lights are also on the schedule in the daytime cycle. The air, I can adjust it from my phone anywhere I'm at in the world. Basically climate control. I got hygrometers all around, even in the incubator that's synced up to my phone that's telling me what the temperature and humidity is in here. I have a humidifier in here that I can control from my phone, turn off and on, and a dehumidifier where I can bring down. So we put cycles in here where we'll push the humidity up to 60, 65%. We'll run it pretty much for, 2 days, 48 hours, and then 24 hours will dry it out to 40%. It's already
Mm.
an automatic cycle. So it works out perfectly. So we did
Do the
all
uh do the ball pythons need more attention than the cresties,
no. By
or
us
is it the
having
other way around?
it's the other way around. We have so many crested geckos that because we do water changes, so we made it very simple. So We feed on Mondays and Thursdays for the crested gecko.
Well, I know that real quick. Wait, I know that the amount is definitely more attention to the cresties, right? Because it's just more animals, so it's going to take more time. But if you compare 1 to 1, like I'm not familiar with cresties, so I don't know. Is it higher maintenance than a ball python if you were to just go like 1 to 1?
No, I would say about, I guess, the same, or maybe a ball python would be more. Only if you're like doing cocoa or changing paper towels and filling water, things like that. So 1 to 1 ball python will be more. But in order to have as many, ball pythons as we have crested geckos, I mean, we would need a facility probably 4 or 5 times this size.
Okay,
But
so more
yeah,
space required, definitely.
oh,
Yeah.
definitely, and we still have space in here, which is kind of cool. But we're done as far as growing our crested gecko numbers. Man, we've hit some crazy numbers in the past. So now we're like really fine tuning all of our programs and perfecting it. We have no aspirations of growing bigger as far as numbers wise, even though we may get another facility on another property and build that out with some extravagant weird stuff, jacuzzi tub, some lounge area.
Real quick, man, I want to touch on something that you're doing with the cresties, and I big salute to you guys for doing this. If you could explain to us what you're doing with your homie, what was his name? Um,
Oh, okay. Oh, you're talking about Brian with Altitude
Brian.
Exotics.
Yeah. I was gonna say Brian, but I didn't want to get it wrong.
So
Okay, so
Brian,
go ahead. What are you guys doing? You and Brian together?
Brian, like I said, he's family, man. We vacation together. We do all kinds of stuff together. But this time we put our heads together and we wanted to offer to people, something that never been offered before. We saw, such a divide between everyone, in this specific year. We don't really have sales per se. We do updates and new listings, and it's like twice a year we'll have a sale. Black Friday, and then our Beat the Heat sale, which is our summer sale. But then Brian also at Altitude Exotics, he has a summer sale. This particular year, his summer sale and our Beat the Heat sale fell in the same week. So he hit me up. We were conversing, we were laughing, like, hey, we're going head to head. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, we're both going out, putting our geckos on sale at the same time. So we both did well. We cross promoted and helped support each other like we always do. He did well, we did well, and then afterwards we're sitting there like, you know what? Let's try something else. So we thought it was pretty interesting, and seeing how the numbers are going, I guess it was much needed. Where we decided to do a BOGO, whereas buy one gecko get one half off. But it was a little different how we worked it. We worked it in a way where if you buy from Flawless, a gecko off the website, then you'll get a coupon code to get any gecko on his website at half off, and vice versa. That means, you can come to our site and buy a $200 gecko and go to his site and buy a $10,000 gecko and get half off. There's no, one you have to buy at a higher rate and get the second one. It's none of that. So you can work the system. And I thought it was really, really creative for us to do that. And we never seen it, happen between two different breeders that's completely separate. So we figured it was pretty fun to kind of approach it that way.
Yeah, I look like I'm lagging. Am I lagging to you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Ah. All right, hold on a second, man. Let me back out and come right back. All right.
All right, no problem.
All right, keep them entertained for me.
Yeah, definitely. So that's the approach that we figured we would go with. So we figured that we can pretty much address both clientele, Flawless fans and supporters, as well as Altitude Exotics fans and supporters. And show, it doesn't matter who you purchase from in the hobby. Everybody's doing this for the same cause, to better their programs and push the industry forward. It's all about that gene stacking and moving your programs forward. Yep, there you go. I see you, Bal. Yep. He backed out. So that's pretty much what's going on in the comments. I can still see the comments. DEA, what's going on, DEA? Sea of Serpents. Frank the Tank, as always, is locked in. Ray getting his video all sorted out.
Okay.
There we go. Yep, you good.
Okay, cool.
He held it down. We held it down. It's all good.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. That's what happens when you're live. Shit happens.
Oh yeah.
Um, okay, so real quick, man, about that, what you're doing with Brian, man. I just wanted to highlight that and to give people a glimpse of what you guys are doing because it doesn't have to be cutthroat. Just because
Right.
you're doing what I'm doing doesn't mean we are enemies. It doesn't mean that we have to bash each other or try to
Right.
outdo the next person. We could actually work together as a team and do better for each other than we would ever do better beating each other up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So salute to you and Brian, man. I think that is genius, and what an example to set for the people in the industry that maybe didn't know what they didn't know, and now they know that they could do that, and it's a good idea.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We continue to build and do things together. Actually, that was the first time we made it on the MJ. Was after we went out to Vegas. Brian and us we partnered together and we went out there. His first time doing a show in years, and we were everyone, even Dave Levinson was out there and was chatting it up with him because everybody was in shock. We promoted that show as well for Rami out there, and we pushed and pushed and pushed, and everyone, for the ball pythons, it wasn't that great of a show. But we had people fly in from Korea. They were running over to the booth. And, that was that show. We did 400 grand in the first 30 minutes.
Oh, that was you guys. That was you guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Huge. Holy crap. And now, did you guys already have that set up or did they just pop up out of nowhere and it happened?
No, we had it set up. We were promoting and making contact. We have a lot of export on the export side in Korea. He organized a lot of his buyers that actually flew in. That's where we're doing a lot of photo ops, people who were meeting in person for the first time. Even before the show, nothing was sold beforehand. We had dinner with a couple of the Korean buyers that night prior. They kind of gave gifts. It was amazing, man. The respect and honor that they showed us, it was insane. But
did they speak English with you or did they have like translators with them?
most did. Most spoke English, but Isaac, which is the interpreter and also their importer on the Korean side, he speaks English, and we talk to him quite a bit.
Oh, okay. Damn, man. So that's amazing, dude, man. Congrats, bro. That's
Thanks,
that was a story heard across the industry, bro.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, 100%. What other countries do you export to?
Well, UK, Korea. Um, we exported to China via Korea because you can't export directly to China.
Interesting. Didn't know that.
Yeah, no, we can't. So same thing. Like I don't know how the export to Mexico, but we haven't done that yet. So there's some loopholes where you got to figure out a third party. We've been thankful enough to contact with like DDI, which were extremely helpful at one point, but then we had to find our own carriers on like the Netherlands and the UK side of things to get geckos to certain places, and then also network. We have Crimson Cresties, huge fans of her, Donna at Crimson Cresties in the UK, where we were able to export to her, where she was able to, on the ground side of things, to get geckos to the end purchaser on her side. And it's all about the connections you can make. So,
yeah, building relationships. You can't be sitting in your basement and not doing anything, thinking you're gonna do something.
Yep. That's huge.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, man. You're making you're building friendships and relationships across the planet, man. And
same thing with Darren. I mean, Darren, he big ups to Sloan Morse. I mean, man, he's helped out with the business, with Flawless Exotics in a huge way, man. We met him in person at Tinley. He flew out to Tinley, and much like you, how you were explaining, he doesn't really like to, or didn't really like to get in front of the camera as much, and I always trying to urge him, nudge him to kind of, hey, just get out there, man. Everybody's starving for content, get out there. His collection is insane.
Yeah, he came on, I believe it was Here Down Friday once, man. Was showing off some animals. He got some dope stuff, man.
Yeah, so he fighting that battle, but we gonna get him out there.
Yeah, so good. Listen, man, he got you pushing him along. You're gonna do great, bro. I love watching you guys on Sundays. It's at 3:00, right?
Yep, 3:00. Actually, this Sunday we'll be on at 3:00. Yep.
Nice. So, do you have a YouTube channel for the Cresties and for the ball pythons, or is it one
Yes.
channel?
So, being that at some point we would love to be monetized, I think we're on our way. Actually, on both channels. It's weird. The ball python world is so huge, man. It's insane. We have approximately almost 1,200 subs on Flawless Crested Geckos, and then we have a hair over 600 subs on Flawless Exotic Creations. And with both channels, we got the same watch hours. It's the craziest thing. So with half
Word.
the viewers, half the subs on the Ball Python channel, we still have the equal amount of view hours. So being that at some point, hopefully, we'll be monetized and there will be some type of revenue that will be coming through. We wanted to, I guess, nip it in the bud and help out our CPA by having, it divided. So we were
Mhm.
just doing just a flawless channel, and that revenue is coming in across, snakes and geckos. Now we got to figure out how many episodes did we do tailored towards snakes, how many toward geckos, and if there's revenue, how do you divide it? Now we don't have to do that. So by both being LLC, so
Yeah,
that's why
that's
we
smart.
did
So
that.
yeah, keeping everything very clean and crisp, so it doesn't drive your CPA crazy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So then, so you guys are doing YouTube for both businesses, but you said that you do Patreon. So let's talk about Patreon a little bit. What are you providing people on your Patreon, and what
So
are you mainly focused on?
this is the thing with Patreon and what we do with Flawless. Right now, it's just for Flawless Crested Geckos. But the reason we came up with our Patreon was because we saw a void of no one really kind of entertaining what was going on in the industry as far as, people. It's hard for people, with jobs, different things going on in your life, even if you're doing it as a business or even if you're doing it as a hobby. So we were looking for a way to be able to help everyone involved, and that was Patreon. So, with our Patreon, we were like at that time when we started Patreon, I guess we were about 6 years in. A big part of our business plan and everything we do, I call it poking holes. We try to poke holes in any plan we develop, and sometimes that's not a pleasant, conversation with Audra and I, because the way my brain works is I'll come up with a plan and I'm already trying to poke holes in it. And then when I kind of see it almost foolproof, I present it to her like, hey, what you think? And it's kind of almost foolproof, if it isn't.
Yeah, I
Um,
like that you said that you kind of look for you poke the holes purposely
yeah,
so that you
yeah,
can see where the weak points are.
because you want to get in front of it, and where her brain works is hairstylist mode. I got an idea. This is what it, and like, well, that won't work because so she don't even think about a hole in it. She just throw it out there. So,
We
you
figure out
know,
the holes later.
oh yeah. So then she's like, well, how come my plans aren't working? I said, well, this one worked that you came up with, So we did it that way on Patreon. And one of the big things that presented a problem for us was perception. So Justin, I'll use Justin because he's a household name with Canova. Love his model, love his brand. I had nothing negative to say about the man.
Yeah, it's killing it.
Ozzy, we're Patreon members, so we're learning the process. Now, in my opinion, humble opinion, I feel people like them have earned their spots of where they are in the industry. And not necessarily just to pay homage to them, but I feel like their knowledge and where they are in the industry and programs and what they're working with, customer service, whatever it may be, it's earned them that prestige to say, hey, it's going to be X amount of dollars to be a part of this prestigious club where you get early release, availability, whatever it may be,
Mhm.
and it costs you this amount of money every month. Now, for us, we felt it's been so many people that's, been doing crested geckos before we even entered the game. I don't think we've earned that, no matter how many other people say that we do. And that was part of our checks and balances system. So I wanted to devise a way where we can offer a service for everyone and not feel like people are paying us for our, intellectual property.
Mhm.
So because I don't feel like we're tenured enough, to be in that lane with those guys, even in the Crested Gecko world.
Right.
It's just what I thought. So part of that was we would devise a way where it would be bookkeeping. And Audra keeps all the books and Excel sheets. Where at first state we do everything in stages. Stage one was one tier, $50 a month. Believe it was capped at 50 getting started, 50 members, and basically your $50 a month you would use, it would go to a savings account, Flawless Crested Gecko savings account, where
Okay.
one of the perks would be 5% off, no matter if we have sale geckos or not. We always have geckos listed, so you get 5% off year round. And with everybody that orders geckos and snakes, we also offer you free shipping year round.
Oh, that's
So
dope, man. It gets a little. I don't know if it's pricey for geckos. Is it pricey for geckos like ball
yeah,
pythons?
same thing. Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's a blessing.
So
That's a blessing. You getting a discount? You getting free shipping?
and free shipping year
Tighten
round.
up.
So
And it's a savings account, and I like
and
that. First time I ever saw that was Miguel.
exactly. So we use that tier and that model, and everyone, had their. And actually, Darren was our first Patreon member. I was like that. He just jumped up there and support your brother, support your family.
Yeah.
So that was
Shout out
really
Saul,
cool.
bro.
And so we did it like that. That was the whole stage one, and we accumulated. We maxed out. We hit 50 members on Patreon. And people were messaging us like, "Hey, when is the opening coming?" And we were trying to hold, fast for stage 2 to come about, but then we opened it up for 75 members. So we pushed the threshold to 75. And again, that's a lot of bookkeeping, but it was worth it. We have all kinds of perks that's up there. You have Discord, where the whole community talks to each other.
Mm-hmm.
We do interviews. We actually have one tonight with Patreon members pushing their business and business model and business growth.
Nice.
And then also we give them, free merch. We give them, flawless T-shirts at the 3rd month. We ship it to you for free. We do giveaways on our lives, all kinds of perks. I can't even name all the perks we have. So we were getting up there in numbers again after expanding it. And then it was time for stage 2 of the Patreon process. So Xanthic crested geckos are a high value gecko even now. At one point they were, $10,000 to $15,000 for a Xanthic gecko. And now they're dropped down lower. You can get them, I don't know, $4,000 to $8,000, but it's still pricey. So again, we want to lead our small, portion of the industry. We're already doing Patreon. Not anyone else really was doing it at that point. So we said, hey, we're going to offer another tier. Tier 2, it includes everything that tier 1 does. So you're like, all right, well, tier 2 is $100 a month. And the only 2 differences between the tiers is tier 2, it doesn't expire. Like with tier 1, you need to use your balance within a year. And then it just kind of recycles. With tier 2, you can carry over your balance. You're already paying $100 a month. So if it's $1,200, keep on carrying it over to whenever you want to spend it. On top of that, so that's the first perk of tier 2. The second perk of tier 2, we do a free Xanthic giveaway every year. So we give away a $4,000 to $8,000 animal every single year.
Yeah,
so
that's dope.
Just for you being in the tier. So we kind of market that in a way where we got our commercial run. We say, hey, have you ever played the lottery, lose, and get all your money back? So that's the same exact thing. So if you paid into it for a year, it's $1,200. You win, a free Xanthic with a $4,000 to $8,000 animal, and you still got your $1,200 to spend. Or if you lose, you still got your $1,200 to spend. So it costs you nothing.
And that education that they're getting is priceless, man.
Right.
So you can't put a number on it.
Exclusive videos, CPA talk, business talk, LLC talk, DBA, doing business as talk.
So people definitely getting a nice glimpse of what you're getting at the Patreon on this show right now.
Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing. You kind of answered this question already. Damn, am I glitching again?
Yeah, a little bit visually.
Lord Jesus.
I think I see the question though. Can you savings and the discount? And yes, you can. Not only that, you have to read in between the lines. So our big thing about us, we never want your money for nothing. We don't play that game. We don't play with people's money no matter what. So that being said, we just ran 25% off when we had Beat the Heat. Our Patreon members, we don't say, hey, 25% off, then 5%. We stack it. So we gave them 30% off, and you still get free shipping.
Nice, that's dope.
And you still use your discount. So imagine that you getting discounted geckos and can use your bank that you've been saving. And some people paying $30 for $400 geckos. So it's really cool concept.
you're definitely providing a service that's beneficial for the people. It's not just you looking to generate income for
Right.
flawless.
Exactly.
There was another question. If you could just hit that real quick. Let me see what it says. It says, is it a hard process to get stuff imported from the UK? Can't find anyone to give an honest answer. I guess that's a yes or no, really.
I
Is it
would
hard?
say no, it's not hard. It could be pricey. I know we brought in 2 snakes from Iris in the Netherlands, and I mean that was trouble free. I mean that literally landed in our. We have an international airport that's 20 minutes from our home, which is GSP Airport, and we went there, went through customs, and it was smooth sailing. Showed all our paperwork, and we were done. And then we also did imports of cappuccino crested geckos a couple years back when they were just getting hot from Korea, where we had to drive 4 hours out to Atlanta International Airport. It was supposed to be a quick turnaround, and we didn't get home till 14 hours later. And we had all our paperwork and everything, but it was a longer process. So I would say no, it's not difficult, but you just have to make sure you have all your paperwork together. Every situation is different depending on what rules change, and especially at your landing facility, on whether you're going to need an actual broker to be involved in the transfer between the airline and you, or whether you don't. So,
where would someone go to read what the rules are for that?
should I have to answer that? What is it called? It's not wildlife. I'm drawing a blank at the moment, but it's customs. It's the customs paper. You need customs paperwork and CITES paperwork. But I'm drawing a blank on where you actually.
It's okay, but at the end of the day, if you Google something like custom imports from wherever your location is, it should kind of guide you into that.
Yeah, importing reptiles. Definitely utilize Google. We utilize it all the time. So ask Google literally the question, and typically you'll have a few answers that'll pop up, and just kind of read through.
Yeah, for sure. Damn. It's work, man. But once you get it figured out, it seems like it's pretty a smooth process once you get it all, the foundation laid out.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Yo, you putting in so much work, man. You guys just doing it across the board, bro.
Hey, it's adapt and overcome. You got an obstacle, figure out a way through it or over it. Just can't be stopped by it.
Yep. And then you gotta have. So here's a question. Who are some of your mentors that you really maybe go to for these types of things, or just general advice or opinions on your ideas that you respect? Like, who are some of the people that you could big up?
Let's see. As far as giving people props and they flowers, I would say Ozzy. As far as the snake game and his knowledge of diversification and it not being just snakes and that's it. Believe it or not, Darren at Sloan Morse, he puts himself in a box quite often, but his vision, man, is crazy, and his drive and passion for what he do. When he opened up that box, it's going to be over with for the industry. So I definitely bounce a lot of ideas off of him, and Ozzy, and taking in a lot of that information. And also Brian at Altitude, man, he, that's one of them guys. He won't admit it, but that's one of them guys that really has been a staple into us turning into what we have so far, because we're not done yet. And the reason I say he wouldn't admit it is because he always kind of shies away from it. When we first started, interacting over the phone, one of the big questions that I had, because we were in law enforcement full time, burning the candle at both ends. And, I asked him, I said, hey, I know you're doing this full time. Like, what do you think about, a breeder kind of getting going and, taking this on full time? And he's like, nah, he said, it's probably not working for you, but I could respect that, because I feel like, us being friends and associates, he kind of just blow smoke and say, yeah, you could do it. Yeah. What he was trying to say, for lack of a better expression, is that it was a lot of hard work, dedication, and sacrifices that would need to be made in order to kind of pursue a journey like that. So
right. It's almost like an unconscious test where it's like, hey, man, like, did a lot. That
Oh
came
yeah,
across.
it's for the sake of the argument, ask yourself, hey, if you got 25 grand, I'm just throwing numbers out. Say someone drops $25,000 cash, no taxes, nothing on it, in your lap right now. Okay, based off of what you have in your collections for reptiles, they give you 25 grand cash, which is not really money, but they give you 25 grand. They say today, tomorrow, you need to go and quit your day job, and this is all you have. Figure it out. I mean, to a certain extent, that's kind of how you have to be, you know.
Yeah, you got to jump in the water. You can't just dip your toe in
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah. So I get what he was saying, and by being so frugal out here with what your projects are, and then you know with the crested geckos, we're kind of covering so many different lanes and on a high level with it.
Yeah,
But in ball pythons, where you have far more genes, far more morphs, for us in our current stat, it's impossible to kind of cover everything. Um,
yeah, dude. We got. I think it's up to like 250 something genes. I think like 45 plus recessives.
yeah.
Like,
And that's why Bob, I mean, he really directed us in the right way. I asked him in the early stages of Zebra, I said, hey, what you think about Zebra? He said, give it a little time before jumping into it. I took his advice, and stayed away from it at that time. I'm happy I made that decision with some of the
yeah,
new findings and stuff, or Super McKinsey or whatever they're trying to say. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna stay in my lane, but it's
yeah,
very difficult, with some of the genes, and then being new like we are. We don't claim to be, pros at IDing because oh man, we hatching out stuff and I'm like, I don't know what this is. No
well,
clue.
listen, man. The reason I asked was because like who you go to for all these things, because you are who you hang out with,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
and the way you present yourself and the way you carry yourself and the ideas that you have and the mentality that you have is a reflection of those people that you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I just wanted to salute you on that, man, because you just, you can see that you are driven for success, right?
Oh yeah, I
Um,
strive for it. Yep. I
you're not
feel
just
it.
out, you're not just out here winging it.
Oh yeah, no. Everything has to be by design. It has to be a plan. You gotta have a plan to it.
Yeah, I think that's amazing, man. So when you be like when you first started getting in, success looked like what? And then now that you've been in the Cresties for 8 and in the balls for this is the first one, right? First
Right.
year?
First season, yep.
Yeah. So what did success look like when you first started? And what does that look like to you now? And now that you're at the beginning stages of ball pythons, what does success look like to you for that as well? Hi, Audra.
Hi. Sorry, I'm
So
late.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. We just been talking business, and he's talking nothing but great things about you and how amazing you are and how important you are to the whole build of everything. So,
I told him you was a pain in the
Oh
behind.
no, I've been listening, and I heard how you took credit for the name Flawless, which you did not.
I
So
think I did.
no, you didn't. You
oh,
should.
hey, don't get
Like
whooped up on live, bro. Don't get whooped up on live.
But success. At first, I mean, success was very simple. I mean, making a first couple sales was success. Um, and then it kind of leveled up from there and got away from sales to more engagement and reach on social media. So we kind of correlated that with success, being able to get a certain amount of likes on a at that time it was only pictures, wasn't really reels or nothing, and being able to increase your followers and subscribers and everything across the platforms. We kind of correlated that with success, and now it's still a certain level of continued growth on all platforms.
Mhm.
Like I said, success for us at this point, in my opinion, would be monetization on YouTube on both channels, freedom, being able
I said
to
freedom. I mean, it's freedom. Success from point A to all the way to now has been the freedom to be able to enjoy life
right
and not be super stressed out about how you're going to pay your light bill or how you're going
exactly.
to pay your power bill or whatnot. Like success has so many different definitions
Mhm.
it for the same business from the time you start to the time you are at now. Just,
Yeah, that's why I love asking that question, because nobody has the same answer for that.
Oh, definitely. But you also got to understand that, I told that story before, like we didn't vacation before, like we work, grind. And, in this short time of doing these businesses, I mean, we've been out of the country a few times. Like we've traveled all over now. I mean, we're meeting all kinds of people from everywhere. I mean, it's a change of pace. I mean, it's true happiness.
Yeah, I'm sure 8 years ago you weren't like, yo, I'm gonna have awesome friends in Korea
Oh yeah,
and
no,
UK.
not at all.
Yeah,
Not
and I
at all.
really like that you said freedom, because you're as successful as you want to be now,
Oh yeah,
right? Although you work 24/7 now, you're doing it for you, not for someone else's success, right?
absolutely.
you're gonna work
And
harder for yourself than you work for anybody.
yeah, you work harder for yourself than you work for anybody, of course. Yeah, and you reap the benefits of your hard work. It's not you slaving for somebody else. So
Right.
yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. I love that freedom mindset. It comes with a lot of responsibility, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
Spider-Man, with great no wait, with great power comes great responsibility.
He got kids.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got 4 kids. I got a 2.2.
Oh wow,
Oldest one is
I got 2.2.
I got a 2.2.
We got
Oldest one is
3.1.
18.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
oldest one is 19. She just turned 19. She actually made me a grandfather, so I'm a grandpa.
Oh wow.
Dude, I was fucking pissed when I first found out. I was heated. I had to go for hours long car ride. Boy, I had to make sure I didn't murk this little kid, bro. Like, all kinds of stuff, man. But
Oh man.
I got over it fairly quick. Maybe the rest of the family not so much. Uncles and aunts and stuff like that. But when the baby got here, man, all that just went away, man. It was the most beautiful thing. Like, she is just my little angel. I love seeing her, love spending time with her. It's beautiful, yeah. So, but my youngest one is 7, and you be seeing him pop in sometimes on Hair Down. He just come in and he be like, "Yo, what up?" Blah blah blah. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun, man. I got it across the board, and my girls are definitely daddy's girls, and my sons are me. Frustratingly saying that sometimes they're me, and I reap what I sow throughout my childhood.
Oh man.
Yeah, you know how that goes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it's cool, man. I enjoy it, and I know you guys. I really really love hearing that you have your sons working with you guys. I think that family bond and unity, and building something together, and them seeing the effort that gets put into building something successful, like,
Oh yeah. And
I
they've
love
seen
that.
all aspects. They've seen us being in the workforce, a very difficult career, and kind of punching that clock and always being away from home, and now being home and still kind of working extremely hard and being dedicated to something that you built from your own hands. So they've seen kind of both extremes, which is very important.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. You guys set a great example, man. Are any of them trying to take what you guys are doing? Are they trying to take it as serious? Are they trying to
Not
move like
yet.
you guys, or are they
Um,
just participating?
Yeah.
so there's a few things that come into play. So I wouldn't say they're taking it serious quite yet. We're just kind of trying to put, how you say it, the work ethic.
The idea
into
of entrepreneurship and
that's
the
right.
ideas of, this is how hard you need to work for yourself to be able to be successful.
Which is very
in this
important at the shows as well, which is very key. So we bring them to the shows. A lot of time you'll see us in the cut, in the back, cleaning geckos or rearranging things, and they're our front line. They're doing all the customer engagement. We're sitting there, but people will sit and think, "Oh man, close the sale." That's not really what we're listening to. What I'm looking at as a young man, especially having, we have a blended family, with any young boys, you want to make sure they're making eye contact. They're speaking in a manner where they can be heard and not mumbling, enunciating their words properly, so we want to make sure that their presentation as well as their knowledge of what they're talking about is all on point, and they're talking to other grown-ups, so as they're presenting themselves, they're, oftentimes shocking everyone in the manner that they're speaking. And that's the only thing that we're looking at, because as people and as kids that now, growing up to be young men, the only thing that will change when they get grown is going to be your product. whatever it is. It could be your own product from being an entrepreneur, or it could be for some other company, whatever it may be. But you're going to be selling yourself on some type of product. That's the only thing that changes.
Yeah, 100%. I hear it all the time when people meet my kids. They're like, "Oh, your kids are so well spoken. They're well behaved. They have, they speak proper. They're not, they're not." My sons that aren't walking around with their pants hanging off their butt.
Oh yeah, no.
We don't do that around here. We don't do that around here.
We don't.
But yeah, and it's super humbling and it's beautiful to see, and it kind of fills you up. You know what I mean? And then they get home and they're just lunatics, and I don't understand.
That's our house.
I don't understand, man. Out in the world, they are just perfect, and then they come home and it's just madness, man. I'm like, what is going on?
He walked in the other day, the trash can was overflowing, and he's like, "What? Y'all get in here now! Like, do y'all not see this trash that's overflowing? If you see it come through here, you need to get it. You need to, it's hilarious. Like,
that's funny. But if they're in public and they see something, they'll pick it up and put it in the garbage.
Yeah, they do it. Yep.
Yeah, that's so funny, man. So listen, guys, it's been just about 2 hours. Honestly, it went by super quick, man. And I'm sorry that you weren't here for most of it, Audra. But we could definitely run a part 2 at some point. As you guys start getting deeper into the ball pythons and you really start expanding on that and building that business. And I'm definitely down for a part 2, of course. So what we're gonna do is we'll do our giveaways and then we'll wrap it up. I know that you guys are not going to be able to join us on Hair Down tonight because you guys actually have a live that you're doing for your Patreon at 9 p.m.
Right.
Yeah, so that's super cool. But, you guys always invited on the freaking Hair Down Friday, baby. Y'all are family, so let's go. Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. We're going to give away a T-shirt from me, and we're going to give away $50 credit to... Can they apply that to Patreon? Can they apply that to Cresties? Can they apply that to Snakes? Is that across the board?
Yeah, sure, across the board.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I freaking love having you guys on, man. I feel like I learned so much, bro. We might have to do a solo, Audra, me and you, and then we'll have Will come in late on the next one.
That'll work.
Then I can tell the other side of the story that he didn't tell.
Yeah. Cotton picking story.
The truth, right?
No, she ain't gonna tell you the truth.
No, he's not gonna tell you the truth. He lying. Just let me tell you. I'll just go ahead and tell you he's lying. When anything comes out his mouth about the cotton picking story, the cotton picking story is a lie. It's a lie.
Were you listening when you weren't here?
I was able to listen to part of it as I was driving down the road.
Okay.
So I only got part of it. Did you tell that story?
No, I didn't tell that story.
We didn't talk about cotton picking. Yeah.
We're moving on. That's another story.
Yeah, we'll say that one for the next one.
Yeah.
All right, so let me pull up this little wheel of names I've been having. I guess honestly, I'm in South Florida, and we're like the middle of rainy season. So every Friday for the past 4 weeks has been nothing but thunderstorms.
Oh wow!
And I'm actually shocked that power didn't get cut off and all this other stuff. So even though I was a little glitchy a couple times, I'm actually shocked that that's all it was. So I do the wheel of names, and I do it on my phone because if I do it on the computer, I blacked out when I did it with KG and D. And I had to get out and come back. So yeah, man, it's a pain. I'm still figuring all this stuff out, man.
We too.
Yeah.
We are too. Definitely.
All right. So here we go. Guess what my favorite reptile podcast is? Drag. Oh, that's awesome. So, 3 hashtags. This guy right here, bro. You been here this whole time, KG? What's poppin'? So that's the way I do it. We're on both platforms right now. We're on your platform and my platform, which I think is super cool. And thanks for doing that. I think it's awesome. So I'm gonna go by the first 5 people that pop up on StreamYard. Okay, because the first 5 people that pop up on your platform and my platform are going to be different, right? So we're gonna do 3 hashtags. We'll do this is for the t-shirt, by the way, if you're listening. If you're new here, we're doing a giveaway. We give away a t-shirt at the end of every show. Let me actually show it to you guys in case you didn't catch the beginning.
Project.
Big dog in the house. That's my brother, man. I love that guy.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Jeezy.
I'm always looking at Kevin.
So that's gonna be the t-shirt that you win. It'll be exclusive and it will have episode 6, Flawless Exotic Creations on it. Audra and Will, I'm gonna take care of you guys. I still have to send out some other t-shirts. I'm like backed up right now. I make them myself. So God, yeah. Forgive me for length of time that it takes to get it out sometimes, but you know, I'm only one person. So yeah, that's the t-shirt, guys. And it's gonna be hashtag flawless, hashtag exotics, and hashtag creation.
We're still with you.
We're still with you. The camera
No, it's all good.
decided to be funny.
Yeah. So hashtag flawless, hashtag exotics, and hashtag creations. First 5 that pop up on the StreamYard chat are going to be the 5 on the spin to win. And then I'm going to spin it for you guys to see. And whoever it is what it's going to be. Let's see where we at. First one, Pressure Pythons. Second one is Windy City. Third one is Sacred Serpents. Fourth one is Morph Master J. And fifth one is Eric's Morph Factory. All right, so let me just hold that in place real quick. All right, I'm going to spin the wheel. And the winner is
5.
Number 5. Who's that? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Eric's Morph Factory. You are the winner, big dog, and I'll probably just give it to you when I see you. So that's what's up. So now we're gonna do. Congratulations on that. Now we're gonna do 3 more hashtags. I'll let you guys pick it out. Actually, let me fix myself real quick because when I do that phone thing to the camera, it messes me up. Hold on a second. I gotta tighten up, man. Oh boy. Let's see. Okay, there we go. I think that's good. Is that good? Am I still blurry, you guys?
Nope, you're not blurry.
No, you're not blurry.
All right, word. Okay, so I'm gonna let you guys pick it out. Pick 3 hashtags, and then the first 5 to put it in the chat. Spin the wheel, and we'll see who the winner is.
Okay. Let's see. Shoot, being on the damn spot.
I know.
Oh, making you guys mad and uncomfortable. I love it.
Yeah.
Family.
Yeah, family. Well, flawless family.
We don't have flawless.
That's okay.
It's okay. It don't matter.
Okay, flawless family.
And what's the last one? Growth.
Growth.
Okay, flawless family and growth. Let's go.
Yeah.
First 5 on the StreamYard chat, guys, because we're on 2 different platforms right now. Family, flawless, and growth. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
There we go.
There we go. Sacred is first. Mitzi is second. Family Sacred is first. Mitzi is second. Dragon Soul is third. Windy City is fourth. And Uptown Exotics is fifth, guys.
Frank forever won't have flawless sneakers.
Yeah.
That's 2. This is for $50 store credit to anything across their board. And there's no expiration date, right?
Nope.
All right, cool. All right, let me run it real quick.
Uh-oh.
Here we go again.
4.
Number 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Windy City Morphs. Let's go,
Nice.
big dog. Come on.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So make sure you hit them up in the DMs.
Yeah, please.
And they'll know that it's you, and I'm sure they'll put a little login. So if you ever come to them,
Yep.
You can throw that 50 towards something cool.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Give us love, definitely. Give us
Yeah. And real quick, let me just do this one more time. And there we go. Again, this episode is sponsored by Brock over at Morphinary Arts. Really appreciate you, big dog. If you didn't catch it at the beginning, he's working on Ultramel Hypo Pods. He's working on DG Clowns. He's working on DG Ultra. Oh, wait. I said that already. Hold on one second. I want to make sure I got this correct. Yep. Ultra Glows. Yeah, there we go. And Ultra Pods. Yep. And follow him on Instagram, Facebook, MorphMarket. He just started a YouTube channel, so definitely go check that out. He's putting out some dope content, especially about his animals and his practices as a keeper. So yeah, definitely check out Brock from Morphinary Arts. Appreciate you, big dog. And that's a wrap, guys. So listen, just hang out for me backstage, and I'm gonna run this little video and end it.
All right.
All right. Appreciate you. All right, guys. Yo, what a great show. Like, I'm having technical difficulties, but damn, Will was spitting so much knowledge. I really hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope that you definitely absorb some of that information and are able to apply it to your business practices. And that's the end result. Like I said at the beginning, learn together, grow together, and succeed together. And I mean that wholeheartedly because when you work together, everybody moves much faster. When you try to move solo, it takes a little bit of time. So until the next one, guys, appreciate you, love you, thank you for the support. It means the world to me. And I'll actually catch you tonight on Hair Down Friday, Keith Constrictor's YouTube channel, 8:15 p.m., where a bunch of breeders get together. We all, talk the talk and chop it up. We show snakes. We cut eggs. We laugh. We joke. We do all kinds of stuff. You get to meet new people every single show that come on and show their collections. Super dope. Awesome time. Also, Will and Audra are going to be doing a live for their Patreon at 9 p.m. So if you're a part of their Patreon, make sure you're there for that. And if you're not part of their Patreon, what are you doing? Go to the Patreon. Join it. All right, guys. I'll see you later.